Hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jason the Teacher, and today we are going to talk about telepathy. Telepathy. How can you be a telepath, and how can you start your training as a telepath? Now, I started doing it about, I don't know, I think this was the 07-ish. I think it was in 2007 when I learned that not only that we think our thoughts, is that people can hear our thoughts too. It's possible for us to hear each other's thoughts, and I noticed that this was done through the power of suggestion, and it takes a lot of practice to do it. I mean, it's 2012 and I'm still learning. I hardly can. It's very hard to do it, but with practice you get used to it. I mean, I don't really use it that much. Well, actually, I do use it a lot, but I don't really talk to anybody. I'm usually the one that's talking. I do a lot of talking and thinking in my head, and I don't leave much room for others to have a conversation with. But anyways, if you want to learn how to be telepathic, first you have to know how to use power of suggestion. And the power of suggestion has a lot to do with making choices. Like say you're at the grocery store and you're staring at the bean aisle. You're in the bean aisle, okay, and you're looking at these different kinds of beans. You got red beans, you got pinto beans, you got black beans, okay, and you're trying to decide which one you want to use, okay. Now, say there's someone down the aisle that is looking at you. Say I'm the guy I'm in the aisle and I'm buying stuff too, but I want to use my power of suggestion at you. Now you're looking at these black beans and pinto beans, okay, and I like black beans, so what I do is I'm looking right at you, and I focus my third eye to your third eye, so we can establish a connection. And what I do is I'm staring at you and I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking in my mind, black beans, buy the black beans, buy the black beans, buy the black beans, buy the black beans. And what you notice is that this person will eventually choose to buy the black beans, not because they made the choice, but because you were using your power of suggestion at them, and using that vibrating black beans to somebody as a message, they eventually get the message, and then they don't know where the thought is coming from. They don't know that they're being suggested upon. They think it's actually their voice in their head telling them to buy the black beans, when in actuality, I'm the one that's projecting the thought into your mind. And it may sound like your voice or something like that, but the point is that you got the message and you picked the black beans, okay? And you can also do this at the mall. I mean, actually the mall was a place where I discovered that there was actually some hidden power in all the thinking process, because I was walking behind these two girls at the mall one time, right? And I'm just, I do what I usually do. I compliment women when they walk by or whatever, but I do it in my head. I think about it. I said, wow, she's a beautiful girl. I'm like, wow. But I found myself behind these two girls, I wasn't stalking or anything. I was just walking down the hallway, and like everybody else walks down the hallway to look at all the other stores. And I see them and I'm like, wow, you two are beautiful girls. Where did you come from? Who put you over there, you know? And I noticed that they were laughing. I didn't know if they were laughing about what they were talking about or if they heard what I was thinking. But I kept going with it. And, you know, eventually I kept complimenting him. I said, I know you can hear me, baby. You want to turn around and check me out, you can, you know? And I'm like, I'm thinking at a fast rate. I don't stop talking, you know? So, let me give you an example. I'm going to start right now speaking out what I would think at these girls. I said, wow, you're so beautiful. You should turn around and see me out real quick. I know you're there. I know you can hear me. Why don't you turn around? I know you look beautiful. I want to ask you out. I want to get your phone number and everything. You're so cool. You look beautiful and everything. You should turn around and look at me. I can see you. I know you guys can hear me. I know y'all can hear me, you know. And basically, that's how it works. You just keep thinking and thinking and thinking, and eventually you'll get a reaction out of them. Eventually, and it happens every time. As long as you focus onto that person, you give them your full attention and intent, they will react to what you're thinking. And a lot of the times they'll even talk to each other about you or whatever, you know what I mean? And I noticed that whenever I did that, they eventually turned around and looked back real quick just to see what was there, you know, who was doing it, and they knew it was me. So, you know, and I stand out because I wear, you know, loud clothing. So, but anyways, you know, if you're a beginner and you want to start doing that, you do whatever I just said earlier, you know, just practice, talk to people, compliment people, say, you know, do whatever you think is natural to you, okay? Don't just go rushing into it and trying really hard, because it's not gonna just happen, right? Well, it should happen right away as you do it, but you have to have the belief system in your heart and in your mind and in your brain that it is possible to do this. You can't just go into it thinking, well, looking for proof, saying, okay, I want to see if I can prove it. Okay, it didn't work, so it doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, okay? It just means that it doesn't exist for you because you're not putting that belief into it, okay? That believing in yourself plays a major part. Faith plays a major part. Faith and belief is those two core principles that you need to have in your life. But anyways, I mean, that's for yourself, you know. So, but anyway, so that was my first time reaction, and you know, this is how it's done. Oh, sorry. So you got. So you got you, and what you do is you focus your intent on the target. This is your target. Whoever it is, you can switch targets if you want. You can, you know, you can do this. You can send a thought over here, and then stop it, and then send another thought over here, and then send another thought here, and you can get a reaction from all three targets at once. Or, you know, depending on the order that you sent your thoughts to, you'll get a reaction from all three of them. And it doesn't matter the distance, as long as it's within sight, within your line of sight. Okay, it could be 10 to 100 feet to 200 feet, whatever. It could be across a football field, but you're still doing a telepathic experiment. And, you know, that's basically how that works when it comes to focusing your intent, your mind onto something. So, and you know, after that mall experience that I had with those girls, you know, I started realizing that maybe this works through objects as well. So, you know, I'm in my car sitting in traffic, and I see this guy in front of me, you know, the light turns green. He doesn't know that the light's green. He's texting on his phone or whatever, right? So I'm sitting there looking at him and said, you know, the light's green, dude. Light's green, light's green. I'm thinking it in my head. I'm not actually speaking it out loud. I'm thinking it. I said, you know, the light's green. Actually, since I'm in my car by myself, I actually talk out loud. It doesn't matter, because when you talk and think, you're doing two things at one time. So whether you say it or not, it doesn't matter. Your thoughts are still being sent. So you can choose to speak if you want. You can speak out loud if you like. If not, if you think faster than you can speak, then do the thinking thing. You know, I'd be sitting in the car, right? Light turns green. I'm like, you know, the light's green, turn green, go, 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 turn green. And, you know, they would look up and, oh, it's green, I'm gonna go. And usually, I've done this enough times to know that telepathic abilities do exist, because sometimes I won't say anything, and when the light turns green, they'll be sitting there at the light, and usually they'll sit there at the light until I say something, and I'm like, do you want to go? After a while, I'm sitting there waiting on them. I'm like, do you want to go? And then they go. You know, it's like, okay, why do I have to tell you to go when you should already know to go? You know what I mean? But, and I'm not saying this all happened in one day. This is over the course of 4 or 5 years. Actually, I've done this since 07, 08, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, 5 years with telepathic abilities, man. It's pretty amazing. It's especially as, you know, I haven't even gotten that far into it either, you know what I mean? Like, I try to have a conversation with somebody, you know. I've done it before. I do small conversations, like test programs, you know. I'll see someone sitting in the, you know, I walk to the gas station, right? I walk to the gas station, and you got this lady. I saw this lady. This was the other day, actually, that it happened. There's this lady sitting in the truck, waiting for her husband to come out and pump gas or whatever, and I just happened to be walking on the sidewalk, and it was aimed directly at her in the truck. And I'm looking at her, I'm listening to my music, you know, doing my thing. I'm gonna walk into the store, but before I walk in and make that turn around the store front, because I'm coming from the side of the building. I'm coming from the side of the 7-Eleven, and the gas pump's up there, and she's staring right at me. I'm about 60 feet from her. And I look at her and I say, in my head I'm thinking this, I'm saying, oh, can you hear me? And she would nod her head for confirmation. She would nod her head, you know, indiscreetly, you know what I mean? So that the system doesn't know that, because the systems that were built on Earth, the government has set them the rules and shit like that about not being telepathic and shit. But, you know, we're slowly breaking through those systems, rules and stuff like that. So we're getting better and better at what we do. And, you know, I look at her and said, you can hear me, right? And she would nod yes, and I said, can you tell me if you can hear me? And she said yes, and I heard her say yes, and I was like, wow, that's cool, alright, test over. And then I walk into the store. You know, that's all I need for confirmation, dude. It doesn't really take that much to convince me of anything. Even though I already believe it beforehand, it's a lot, it makes me feel even better to receive the confirmation. Because even if it doesn't work for me, I still believe that it works, because everything is possible. You can't be alive and think that some things are possible and some things aren't possible. It's either everything is possible or everything is impossible. So if everything is possible, then it doesn't matter you know, whose idea is what. You know, it's there, it exists out there somewhere. So, but anyways, you know, learn how to quiet your mind and think. Listen to your own inner voice. Listen to your inner voice and learn how to control your inner voice so that you can think more clearly and you can speak more directly about what you want, those things that you want. You speak them into reality. So, and you know, you can practice this with everybody. It doesn't matter who you're doing it with. Every person has a different reaction. Some of them won't react at all because they're professional at it. They might be professional telepathic beings that know how to quiet their minds so that nobody can hear what they're thinking. And, you know, it works. So, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can go ahead and comment my page or email me. I got my Facebook page set up on YouTube, so you can go to my Facebook if you want to check me out there. Pretty laid back, you know. I don't mind chatting online or anything, you know. If you got any questions, ask me, you know, about if it's about drugs or spirituality. It could be about any religion or whatever, you know. I don't know about a lot of religions. So, you know, the only thing I know most about is Christian religion, and I know a little bit, very little bit about the, I don't even know the book I'm talking, the Quran. The Quran, I've heard a little bit. They sound like similar to the Bible, but it's a little bit different with their rules. Anyways, namaste, Allah catch, and remember now, don't be mean, play nice, and Merry Christmas.